okay, it was one person, you know, and you could say, oh...
No, but it's where he's coming from in the head.
Yeah.
And, you know, he's not going to be the only person. This is a divide and conquer thing that I feel that sometimes me as an individual can sometimes be guilty of playing into, us and them mentality. It's a shame that he feels that way. What I would love to know is, why does he feel that way? Does he feel that way?
Why does he feel the need for it? Because they came to Britain.
You hear?
Or if he didn't, his parents did.
Yeah.
Why can't they be like the Sikh community that I was talking about?
Assimilate, get on.
You know, yes, they have their own differences, but they're not trying to, you know, I'm not listening to the call for prayer going out. You know, I know Sikhs don't do it, but you know what I mean. You know, they're not trying to force their beliefs and their way of life on me. They're living quietly, doing it in the privacy of their own environment, but they're living a Western life. You know, and this is what's wrong with Islam. And it is a worldwide jihad.
Well, I
don't think anybody can dress it up.
No.
The concerning thing is, and it's not against Islam in a way, it's against our governments, because they are the ones that are allowing it. They are the ones that are driving it. Even now, you know, 2 years ago, we decided we'd had enough of immigration and on the levels that they're doing it at. The immigration figures came out for March 2018, and the net migration figure was 270,000 people in 1 year. This is after we've told our government that we want our borders controlled.
Yeah, please listen to us.
A lot of those, I think it was only about 90,000 were EU. So the balance, huge figures, are coming from non-EU countries. So what part of the message of we need our borders controlling aren't our government doing? And the reason that they can't do it is because we're still tied into the Barcelona Declaration. They are still pushing the globalist agenda. And May's speech the other day, if you look behind what she's saying, look at what she's really saying, she's still going to be pushing the globalist agenda. And I think the trade deals that she does with other countries will involve an agreement of movement of people. I hope I'm proved wrong.
No, I've got a feeling, reading between the lines, you can call it a conspiracy theory, but there is a mass migration that's going whether we like it or not. I don't think anything's going to stop the plan, because you can tell with the way that the system is working against people who are critical of it. That says all you need to know. Not only are they working against you, but they're now going full steam ahead and kind of shoving even more people.
Well, what is it they say? You only have to look at who you can't criticise to know who it is that's ruling you.
This is it.
So, and that's coming from the UN.
Well, going back to that gentleman that decides that he's going to take over all of England because he's here now, I'd love to know why he feels that way. Is that way because he's in his own little echo chamber?
Is there reality to it?
Is the reality to it, or is it a divide and conquer element to it? That he's had his buttons pushed by what he perceives as far-right racism. So you know what I'm going to say to you? I'm going to say we're here and we're taking over your land just to get one over on you. Not to say that he doesn't mean it.
No, I think
he might totally meant it.
He meant it.
But I just mean what's turned him. It's one of them psychological questions I'd love to be able to ask him. I probably wouldn't be able to have a conversation with him because it sounds like he's so full of hatred on his own side. Now,
it was said quite venomously.
Yes.
You know, it wasn't a calm statement of look, this is. That's the other thing that I was going to say. It's a question of numbers. They are now getting to a level where their numbers are growing, and with numbers comes confidence.
No, I've got to agree with you. I
And
do see
the confidence to start demanding the things. And while you've got a government that's appeasing them every step of the way.
Monsieur Barnier said earlier that there were key areas upon which he wasn't prepared to make many concessions. Well, you didn't need to, sir, because you were up against Theresa May, and she was And she was all for making as many concessions as she possibly could, including agreeing a ludicrous bill of up to 40 billion sterling for us to have the right to leave, a continued role for the European Court of Justice, and in line with that, family reunions that mean, frankly, open-door immigration from the European Union is going to continue for years to come, and almost bizarrely, a commitment for ongoing regulatory alignment. It's as if, even though we're leaving, effectively the British government wants to keep us in some form of single market relationship. So I'm not surprised you're all very pleased with her. Theresa the Appeaser has given in on virtually everything.
And they are, you know...
It's just getting worse and worse.
It's getting worse. You know, why these hate speech laws? You know, what are they about? Why can't we talk about Islam?
There should be a middle ground. Even if they do believe in hate speech laws, there should be a middle ground where people can still articulate and say what's going on in this world and be able to say it without having to come under such harsh laws. If you're being... It's an Orwellian world, certainly, when that's happening.
Well, it's just loss of freedom of speech.
Well, this is it. So what good's that going to do going forward? If he can say what he wants, but I can't say Jack, really? We're going to have that?
It's just going to build the tension, you know, it's going to escalate the situation.
This is where I think there's more to it.
So we have to ask, are they driving it? Is this what they're pushing
This is
towards?
what I mean. The divide and conquer.
Yeah. I don't know. You
We
know,
don't.
I mean, you could talk about conspiracy theories, but there's just so much evidence out there now. It's gone beyond a conspiracy. It's gone... You know, when you have a Prime Minister of Great Britain, after a terrorist attack, stand up and say it's nothing to do with Islam, and they were exactly what she said, it's nothing to do with Islam. Well, who was it then? Wasn't you, wasn't me, wasn't the Chinese bloke round the corner. Who was it? You know, when you get a Prime Minister making a statement like that, you know, well, I was going to swear then.
You go for it. Go for it.
You
She's
know,
on the take.
You know you've got a real battle on your hands.
Yeah, that is not working for the people.
Because, you know, the first priority of the government is to protect the people. And that is the people of this country. Now, I know what people are going to say, but they're British too. Yes, they are, but they are not exhibiting British standards and culture. Look at the schools. How many? We don't have Christianity taught, but children are now being taken to mosques. Why aren't they going to the Sikh temples? Why aren't they going to the synagogues? Why aren't they going to churches? Why aren't we showing the Muslim population what our standards and religions are? I know a lot of our religion has fallen by the wayside, but even that has been an engineered phenomenon, you know, as with political correctness. And, you know, there's been so much that's been in the planning for so many years that these people aren't going to give it up easily.
It's a drip.
It's the totalitarian tiptoe, and here we go. No new war, they said. We've got a new war. We won't bomb in Syria. They're bombing in Syria. This is not about Assad. Let's have a no-fly zone to stop people who haven't got planes. It's about Assad, who has got planes. No boots on the ground, they'll have boots on the ground. We're only keeping the peace, World War III. That's the progression they want.
They're not going to give it up easily.
In real time, you feel that your world's gone upside down, but this is a slow drip. You know,
And that's what it's been. I mean, all of our standards have been corrupted. You know, I made a statement in something that I put on my page that we are living in a moral swamp of self-gratification, and it's being driven. You know, all these minority groups that are coming out with their sexual preferences, it's all part of...
You know what I blame this on the breakdown of? Society.
Taking away our culture.
Yeah.
And it actually makes it easier then for Islam to come and step in.
Bring back the days of debauchery. I mean, that's where it's going. I often think that we're going where the last days of Rome was at. Where marrying the horse will be normal, you know?
Man marries a horse. In 1992, Mark Matthews married his pony named Pixel.
Marrying your third dog?
Man marries dog. On November 30th, 2010, an Australian man married his best friend, a 5-year-old Labrador. And the real surprise is that 30 friends and family members turned up to witness the event. Gizzo calls himself religious and claims that he felt guilty living with Honey out of wedlock. Even so, he assured people that it is not sexual.
Whatever it is, because there's nothing that's
I saw
on
a
the
post
table
the
at the
other
moment
day
that's not
where
strange.
sisters was saying that they want to enter into a civil partnership, and you're thinking,
It's incestuous.
I love my dog. Can I marry him?
Woman marries dog. In September 2014, an 18-year-old woman, Manglai Munda, from Jharkhand, India married a stray dog named Shrug in a ceremonial marriage to ward off a curse on her.
But that's where it's going. Where there will be organisations that will fight for your right to do
Because
that.
you're a minority. Oh yeah, the cultural Marxists will be in there like a...
You know, and I think, where's the brains gone? Where has the brains
Where is
gone?
decency gone?
Yeah. Totally lost.
You know, everybody has their own sexual preferences. Fine, keep it in the bedroom, keep it behind closed doors. I don't want it rammed down my throat. Whether that's heterosexual, gay, bi, tranny, any of it. Why should we be subjected to the minorities?
It should be fair and decent. You shouldn't be made to feel guilty because you want to live what is regarded as just a normal life with normal feelings and affections towards the opposite sex. But it's role reversed now.
Look at what
where
they're doing to our kids in the schools.
Yeah.
At 5 years old, they're teaching them about transgenderism, and that kids haven't got a clue at 5-year-old. You know.
There was something I read in the paper the other day about some pupil that was forced to write a gay letter or something along them lines.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
And it's like, what?
Yeah.
It's a good job that wasn't my kid.
And this is what most common sense people say. But the cultural Marxists who are trying to erode our culture, they're trying to break down the family unit. That's the ultimate aim. They want to break down the family unit and be state governed.
My daughters, one's just left secondary school, one has now just joined that same secondary school that the other one's left. For years, my eldest daughter, every time we got a letter, they were always on it. You know, I'm not saying letters that were bad news, just informational letters. They always addressed it, never addressed me and my wife as Mr. and Mrs. It was always Miss and MP, you know, my name. I'd tried and I'd phoned, exacerbated. I went mad at him because I'm like, really? Because all I could see is that because of the breakdown of the family unit, you're almost acting as if within everyone in that school has got
a broken down
parents.
family. Yeah.
So if you do see that almost is abnormal. So hey, I'm not saying they were doing it on purpose, but when
it's political correctness again, isn't
you know,
it?
when you'd address it and ring them and say, mate, it's not hard to get into your computer and put Mr. and Mrs. So every time I get a letter, it never happened.
But schools are all, I mean, there's so much lefty nonsense in the schools, isn't there? We know that. You know, and you've got kids coming home from school saying, 15-year-olds, we were having a political debate, and I said that I would vote UKIP. He was given a detention.
Ridiculous, isn't it?
And I think the class, oh no, that wasn't the one. There was a young lady that said that she supported Tommy Robinson. And it was an art class, I believe. And they sent her out and said she wasn't welcome with those views. Now, for a start, it wasn't a political class.
No. But who's created the most damage there? It's not hard to work out. The one who's just expressed an opinion without any malice. So what? It's like saying I like an orange.
Yeah.
But then because I've said I like that orange, because you don't like the fact that I like that orange, does that make me a bad person?
You know.
Or are you the bad person to try and twist what I've just
But
said
what
in
are
a
the
nefarious
teachers
way?
doing, standing in judgment and bringing politics, their
Into
own
an art
personal
class.
politics,
Yeah.
into the classroom?
Yeah.
That's
even if it's
what's
not
wrong.
personal, even if it's the stance of the school, you still bang out
That's
of
wrong.
order because that person has got every right to believe in what they want to believe in. Yeah, if I said I'm a Muslim, whereas in reality, whether I'm a Muslim or whether I'm a Tommy Robinson fan, it's irrelevant.
Yeah.
It's my personal belief. So don't dig me one because I'm expressing my personal
If you
belief.
look through the human rights laws, you'll see that there is a human right that says, I can't remember which article it is now, but there's one of them that says that you are entitled to this, but we're actually not.
Yeah.
And because of these hate speech laws, we're not allowed.
Orwellian world that we're fastly growing up in, you know. What do you want to be when you grow up? Oh,
I don't know, what do I want to be when I grow up?
No, that's what I'm
No, I
saying.
know.
You know, it's like crazy. What do you want to be? Oh, I might as well be part of the police state because
It is,
that's where the money's going now.
Yeah, it's becoming a Stasi state. We
Oh,
we
right,
are
damn.
being controlled beyond anything that I know and remember from being a younger person.
This is why I love chatting to you because your experiences enlighten people.
To say that these plans have been in process for 60, 70 years is the truth. I can remember back in, I think it was probably the early 70s, we were told as a country that we would have to be responsible for the world population, and as such we should limit our families and try and have just one, but no more than two. Now it's been proven that for a culture to sustain itself, there has to be, I think it's 2.2 children. So back then, we were being told to under-reproduce.
So it's a eugenics program, but that's a conspiracy.
So this is where my age has its advantages. I remember these little things, which younger people won't be aware of.
Yeah.
It was conditioning us to be responsible. And now what are they saying? We're not breeding enough. Therefore, we've got to bring in a lot of immigrants. So if you can't tell me this isn't all part of a plan, and the United Nations, who are being taken over by more and more Muslim countries, are being represented. It's the United Nations. EU, let's get us out. Get out of the EU. Let's do away with all these things that they've signed us up for. And then we need to start thinking about what the United Nations are doing.
Getting our sovereignty back. It's got to start with that first, hasn't it?
I'd like to see the Queen do something, quite honestly, because she must be aware of the state of the country.
Well, if certain news reports...
I don't know enough about constitutional law to
No,
know what she can
I
or
don't.
can't do. But
I've read articles that worry me
Yeah.
though. Nanny, I will tell you. I think it's Greens, the genealogist, has worked out that she's got Muslim ancestry.
I read these things, I've seen that too.
That's not a conspiracy.
No.
That is a reputable genealogist that actually done that work and approached the Queen to tell her, don't
But
expect that the jihadists won't get you.
same token, am I responsible for all my ancestors?
No.
So, let's try and be a sort of objective on that one.
Sure. Yeah. Oh, I'm not trying to say she's appeasing because of that. I'm just saying it's there.
Yeah.
I know people are like, oh, she's German. Yeah, she might be all of them things, but...
She's a German.
She's German. German, eh? Hey, la.
I love that. German.